How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What is going on, guys? And happy Friday. Welcome into the 5-minute debate. We are excited because we've got a great episode. We're talking about Chase Claypool and Courtland Sutton. Obviously, these guys both have limited time actually on the field. Sutton's got 2 years, which is great. But of course, 2020, he was lost to injury. And Claypool,
one game.
It was his rookie season. So, I mean, we don't have a ton to work with here. But we've seen flashes. We've seen moments of them really being able to get really good traction in the NFL, to be able to compete in the NFL. So, Justin, you were talking Chase Claypool. I am talking Courtland Sutton. What do you got for Claypool, man?
So, Chase Claypool was, I think, a pleasant surprise to pretty much everybody this season. He had a breakout age of, 21.2. And, if you're into analytics Twitter, that's taboo. You're never drafting somebody like that. Steelers went out and did it anyways because they're smart. And it looks like they got a future star in Chase Claypool, honestly. He is as big and as fast as they come. Someone, that has been lovingly nicknamed Mapletron. The guy is just a physical freak. I'm looking at his profile here. The dude ran a 4.4, a 4.42. He has a speed score in the 99th percentile and a burst score in the 92nd. You're not going to find a better athlete than him in the NFL, I don't think. And it really just comes down to refining his overall skill set because he is still so raw right now.
Yeah, totally. I think really he is not quite as athletic, but very similar in the same vein as a DK Metcalf, which is why he's so exciting.
A step down is really where he should be. When you're looking at athletic profiles, that's where he fits in.
Yeah, totally. Well, and I think really when I look at these two wide receivers, they're very similar in their physical profiles. How tall? What's the size weight for Claypool?
He is 6'4", 238. The man is a tight end. He came out as a hybrid wide receiver tight end. And I can tell you, he doesn't move as a tight end. His production does not profile as a tight end.
Right. And so Sutton is 6'4", and he's 218. And so I think really both these guys are pretty similar. Where Claypool has Sutton beat is all the things you said, the athleticism. But I think the thing that makes me lean towards Sutton right now is what he separates from Claypool is that he is actually a very good wide receiver. He's not just a freak athlete, because in all reality, he's a very good athlete, but he's not anywhere in the caliber of Claypool.
I was worried. Go ahead. Sorry.
Where he separates is his route running and how, we talked about this a little bit earlier before the episode. His route running is one of the best in the league, especially for a guy his size. And because of his size, he plays to that size and is really incredible when it comes to contested catch stuff. We've seen his targets go up year after year. Obviously, last year's a little bit different. But I think he's averaging somewhere around 108 targets a season with his first 2 seasons, which is incredible. I know Claypool had a lot of targets this year. But there's other questions when we look at the quarterbacks for both these guys. So what are your thoughts there?
So I think with Big Ben, I don't love Big Ben. I'll be honest. I don't think he is someone that I'm pounding the table like, great, Claypool has Big Ben. But I'd rather have Big Ben than Drew Lock all day long. And realistically, by heading into 2022, these guys are both going to have new quarterbacks. There's no question about it. Drew Lock is not long for the NFL. So it just comes down to, who do I trust to develop a quarterback and develop a scheme? And that's Mike Tomlin. Denver can't do it. That we've seen them rotate quarterbacks since Peyton Manning. They don't develop a system that is conducive to a lot of high scoring offenses, whereas the Steelers do. Even with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, it wasn't great, but it was still better than what you're getting out of Drew Lock right now. So give me Claypool's situation all day long. And I do think he has the upside based on the athleticism to, develop into a true wide receiver one. Whereas Courtland Sutton, his athleticism gives me like Laquan Treadwell vibes, which is, if you pay attention, that's not a compliment by any stretch of the imagination. I do think at his ADP, he's being slept on right now. He's going as wide receiver 33. It's different than when we last checked it, Marco. I think Sutton's still a buy in Dynasty just because the price, But if I want the upside, I'm going to take Chase Claypool every single time.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I'm chasing upside, I think Claypool has probably the highest ceiling. But for me, when I look at what you said of like who can be a wide receiver one, I think Courtland Sutton's already done it. He's already shown us he can do it. And I think because of that, the fact that he isn't just a freak athlete, he doesn't just lean on his physical traits, but he's actually developed into a very good wide receiver. Like I said, his route running, his contested catch, he plays to his size. I think those are all things that make me lean Sutton. I think really what I look at, the differentiator for me is where are you as a dynasty team? If you're a team that's competing right now or have a chance to compete in the next, year or two, I actually like Sutton because here's the deal. Claypool's ceiling, I think he will hit it once they figure out whatever's after Big Ben. Sutton has already shown that he can play with a bad quarterback. And I think the Broncos have already realized with what we've heard in this offseason that they need to find a different answer at quarterback, and Elway isn't allowed to be a part of that process. And because of that, I do trust what they're doing.
So the thing is, Sutton was good with Flacco. He was terrible with Drew Lock 2 years ago. His splits, I mean, he was below wide receiver 30 in the 5 games he played with Drew Lock. So I'm not, if I'm contending today, I'm taking Chase Claypool because the opportunity that's going to be available to him next season is ridiculous. Juju, there's rumors he may come back. I personally think he's gone because Deontay and Claypool. I mean, you're looking at 128 vacated targets. That's going to be split between, most likely Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and James Washington, most likely. James Washington isn't anything to me. Claypool could see upwards of 130 targets next year, and he was already third in the NFL in deep targets. And I'm saying and a lot because there's just so much to him. A lot of red zone work as well. He just gets the quality targets that I'm looking for, the type of targets to give you that true wide receiver one upside. And we saw it last season, what happens when he put together, that 40-point explosion.
Yeah, well, but I think I know we're wrapping up here. I think Courtland Sutton does the exact same thing. He saw 30% of his team's red zone targets last time he was playing a full season in the NFL. So I think both these guys have very similar pluses. But where they differentiate is what they bring to the game. Athleticism versus like true wide receiver skill sets. But obviously that can develop.
Compliment.
That can develop for Claypool. If it does, his ceiling is maybe the highest in the NFL at his age right now. So it's up to you guys. Drop your thoughts below. Let us know who you think won this round. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.